Welcome to the news on Zodiak with me, Chancellor Zabanda. The headlines. Chief Resident, former Reserve Bank Governor Dr. Lazarus Chakwera and 3 others charged with money laundering and neglect of duty. Parliamentarians observe Day of the African Child with female legislators conducting business wearing school uniforms. AIDS Care Foundation petitions government to invest $40 million United States dollars on COVID-19 vaccinations. And in sports, 8 Flames players and assistant coach test COVID-19 positive. Now the news in detail. Chief Resident Magistrate Patrick Chiro is expected to give his ruling on bail application by lawyers representing former Reserve Bank of Malawi Governor Dr. Lazarus Chakwera and 3 others. Kabambe handed himself over to police for his alleged authorization of 4.3 billion kwacha into an FDH bank account that belonged to Malawi Electoral Commission's Director of Elections. The 4 have been charged with 2 counts, neglect of duties and money laundering. Chimoyo Badata reports.
The 4 accused persons appeared in court today, where they have been charged with money laundering, negligence of duties, and abuse of office. First accused person, former Reserve Bank of Malawi Governor Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, handed himself over to police, while the 3 other senior RBM former officials were arrested. They appeared in court after spending a night in custody. But the state, during their court appearance, said the 4 cannot be released on bail, as this would jeopardize investigations into the case. The arrest follows a forensic audit that reviewed Dr. Chakwera authorized the transfer of 4.3 billion kwacha funds into an FDH account that belonged to MEC's chief elections officer during the night when MEC announced results of the court-sanctioned fresh presidential election results. Counsel Powell Mkurabasa is a lawyer representing one of the accused persons.
They appeared today to be informed of the reasons of their arrest in compliance with the Constitution Section 42. They were informed and the applications for bail was made for all the accused persons. Neglect of duty and money laundering.
Chief Resident Patrick Chiro is presiding over the case and has since set Wednesday, 30th June, a date to deliver a ruling on whether the 4 can be granted court bail. For Zodiac, this is Chimwemwe Padata.
2 more witnesses in a murder case of prime suspect into the killing of a 14-year-old boy with albinism, Blair Lule, continue to testify at the High Court in Lilongwe Tuesday, bringing the total number of witnesses that have so far testified to 5. On Tuesday, Deputy Commissioner of Police Sten Jaima, the then Director of CID, testified in the case. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court of Appeal has postponed to July 14 hearing of an appeal case involving murder convict Misozi Chantunya. Chief Justice Andrew Nyirenda says the postponement is because the court failed to meet quorum of 7 judges. Chantunya was sentenced to life imprisonment for murdering his Zimbabwean girlfriend Linda Gasa in 2010. Hapen Jalamano filed this report from Blantyre.
6 of 7 judges of the Supreme Court of Appeal showed up in court on Tuesday in an appeal case where murder convict Misozi Chantunya is not satisfied with the life imprisonment sentence. Chief Justice Andrew Nyirenda, who is leading the panel, told the court that they did not meet the minimum requirement of 7 judges and therefore could not start the hearing. He said one of the judges, Justice Ivy Kamanga, has been in safe quarantine since Monday after contacting a COVID-19 positive person. The case has since been postponed to 14 July 2021. Dr. Steve Kayuni is the Director of Public Prosecution.
The Supreme Court of Appeal was supposed to sit for the hearing of the appeal against the state by Mr. Chantunya, appealing against the decision of the High Court where he was found guilty and convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment. So today the Chief Justice leading the panel of the Justices of Appeal did make an address in court that one of the judges could not be part of the panel.
Chantunya was sentenced to life imprisonment for murdering his Zimbabwean girlfriend Linda Gasa in 2010.
Tuesday morning, female legislators, cabinet ministers and Speaker Catherine Gotani-Hara conducted business wearing school uniforms. Minister of Gender Patricia Galiati said this is part of demonstrating their commitment in promoting girls' education as the country observed the International Day of the African Child, which falls on 16 June every year. Details in this report by Winston Kaimira.
The move by the female members of Parliament, female cabinet ministers, as well as Speaker of Parliament and Second Deputy Speaker, was part of commemorating the International Day of the African Child, according to Minister of Gender Patricia Galiati. All female legislators were in school uniforms, and those that did not put on school uniform, including Minister of Education Agnes Nyalonje, were ordered to leave the August House. Minister Galiati said members of Parliament have the duty of promoting girls' education, calling on all of them to champion various initiatives for this to be achieved. Leader of the House, Richard Chimwendo concurred with Galiati. He called for collaborated efforts in dealing with challenges affecting girls' education, such as sexual violence. Speaker of Parliament Catherine Gotani-Hara encouraged girls in the country to work hard in their education.
As much as we know they're going through a lot, there are so many challenges that they face, but we want to encourage them that even with the challenges that they're facing, no desk in schools, not enough school class blocks, no support from parents, and so many other challenges that they meet, that they should still persevere and they should still work hard.
Female legislators from both government and opposition benches took photos together while singing some songs as part of the celebrations. This is Winston Kaimira reporting for Zodiak.
Meanwhile, Parliament has passed 2 bills authorizing government to obtain grants from the World Bank to carry out project activities, which include procurement of doses of COVID-19 AstraZeneca vaccine. Minister of Finance Felix Munusu says the vaccine doses shall be imported from India under the COVID-19 Emergency Response and Health Systems Preparedness Project, using 24 billion kwacha World Bank additional funding for the project. AIDS Healthcare Foundation have petitioned government to invest $40 million on COVID-19 vaccinations. Through the petition, which was dropped at Parliament building this morning, AHL, through the Vaccine Our World campaign, pointed on the need to supplement what the country is receiving from donors. Parliamentarian Chimwemwe Chipungu received the petition, adding the legislators will look into the matter. Alinafe Mlamba with the details.
I'd like to argue the Malawi government to procure and vaccinate 5 million people using Malawi taxpayers' money.
Led by its country program manager, Triza Kakobwe-Hara, the AIDS Healthcare Foundation delivered a petition at Parliament on Tuesday morning asking government to set aside $40 million on COVID vaccination. According to AHL, the amount is adequate to cater 5 million people in the country, and Malawi should not only depend on donor support.
We are also requesting government to address inequalities that are existing between the rural areas and the urban areas here in Malawi. If you go to one corner of Malawi, the rural areas, you find that information maybe is not even adequate as regards the benefits of the vaccine, and even the availability of the vaccine is not adequate.
The petition was dropped under the Vaccination Our World campaign, which civil society organizations have embarked on to urge world leaders, vaccine manufacturers, public health organizations, among others, to provide equal access to the COVID-19 jab amid what is believed to be vaccine appetite, as low-income countries are finding problems to access the vaccine. Member of Parliament Chimwemwe Chipungu received the petition, saying the lawmakers will act on the concerns.
I will play the petition, present the petition to the Speaker, and also speak to the Minister of Finance so that all what you have raised in the petition should be addressed. Good enough, I am also in the Health Committee, and I know all these problems that we have in Malawi as to regard to the COVID-19 pandemic.
At least 1.3 billion COVID-19 vaccines have been administered worldwide, and 17% of these have gone to low-income countries. Malawi has so far managed to vaccinate less than a quarter of its population.
You're watching the news here on Zodiak. We'll be back with more after this.
If there's one thing that all soaps do, it's wash. From buckets to basins, bathrooms to streams, and everything in between.
All soaps wash.
Yes, but Protex is different. Its reinvented formula with flaxseed oil boosts your skin's natural anti-germ defenses by 10 times more, protecting you against 99.9% of germs. So what keeps us healthy?
Protex.
Good health starts here.
Kungonjezera mayunitsi ATNM kuyambira 200 kwacha kapena kuposera pamenepo mutha kukhala mmodzi mwa mamilioneya mu TNM Tikolole promotion. Koma mukaonjezera mayunitsi ndi 100 kwacha kapena kuposerapo mudzilandira mabonus oyimbira foni, SMS kapena data pompo.
TNM, always with you.
Welcome back. Here are the top stories again. Former Reserve Bank Governor Dr. Dalitso Kabambe and 3 others charged with money laundering and neglect of duty. Parliamentarians observe Day of the African Child with female legislators conducting business wearing school uniforms. AIDS Healthcare Foundation petitions government to invest $40 million US on COVID-19 vaccinations. And in sports, 8 Flames players and assistant coach test COVID-19 positive. Now, moving on with the news, there were mixed results in the turnout of Tuesday by-elections conducted in Karabe Central Constituency, Lalanje Ward in Nsanje and Chikwembere Ward in Blantyre. The turnout in Karabe Central by-elections has been described as impressive, unlike in Chikwembere and Lalanje wards. Details with Alex Banda.
Voting in most centers in Chikwembere Ward in Blantyre, Lalanje Ward in Nsanje, and Karabe Central Constituency ended around 6 o'clock Tuesday evening. 3 hours before polling was closed, MEC Chairperson Justice Dr. Chifundo Kajale bemoaned the poor turnout by electorates in the local government poll. Dr. Kajale feels the voters are not fully aware of the role of ward councillors in development.
In Nsanje, I think by around 10-11 when we were leaving, it was hovering around 12%. Here at this moment in the whole ward, the average is around 10%. From the reports we're getting in Karabe Central, I think by 12 noon the turnout was somewhere between 45 to 50%. So I don't think the voters fully appreciate the significance of the role of a councillor insofar as their development in the area is concerned. I think the legislative function of the MP seems to be taken more seriously than the fact that the councillors are actually the very people who sit and decide on the development projects within their councils. And I think if our electorate appreciated the role that councillors have, I would expect that even for local government elections, the turnout will be equally high.
The MEC Chairperson has since recommended civic education for future polls. The polls were, however, not shy of incidents. At Monekela 1 polling center in Blantyre, a presiding officer, Kondwani Nyanguru, reported that some party monitors lodged a complaint against the Malawi Congress Party candidate whose road construction project was ongoing on the polling day, a development they felt it was a campaign too. At Mdeka Primary School polling center, some people who identified themselves as UTM roving monitors were whisked away from the center after attempting to monitor the electoral process. Dr. Kajale said MEC intervened in the Mdeka incident but was yet to get an official complaint on the Monekela issue. For Zodiak in Blantyre, this is Alex Banda.
A Dutch development organization, HIVOS, has observed lack of knowledge is failing some key stakeholders in the country to effectively analyze and track budgetary allocations to various government departments and agencies which affect the realization of government development plans. HIVOS project coordinator Tisungane Nantoka said this Tuesday in Lilongwe on opening a 2-day workshop on strategic use of ICTs in budget and public procurement processes. The workshop has attracted 50 participants from the civil society organizations, media, and local government ministry.
some of the key topics are public budgeting processes, public procurement processes, and how to use information technology and how to input those processes. Because I think what we've noticed is we're going into a more digital world now. There's a lot of use of social media, there's a lot of use of phones. So we want to equip the people that are here at this training with skills and information on how to use information technology to input into those processes. So I think what we have observed, and that's a good question, is that there is no input from local communities, there's no input into the budget from CSOs or even media practitioners. People are hardly aware of the time that they can input. They're never consulted, and if they're consulted, it's only surface level consultations. So what we're trying to do is empower citizens, media practitioners and CSOs with information as well as the skills on how to input into budget processes, so that next time when there's a budget being passed, they know when to input, they know what to question, and it's just not something that they hear from the news, it's something that they participate in.
One of the participants, Blantyre City Council Finance Chairperson, Councillor Mlezi Ntuli, agrees that lack of knowledge on budget processes is one of the factors mushrooming corruption and abuse of resources in district councils.
This workshop is going to add knowledge. What you don't know, you are going to add. What you know, you are going to improve. The context of the ICT is good because in every aspect, in every organization, money transaction is what matters most. And if you know it more, then you can do it better. Sometimes in an organization, you wrongly budget, then everything is gone. But if you budget well, everything is going to be well as well.
An expert in human trafficking issues, Maxwell Matewere, has asked the Special Law Commission reviewing the Immigration Act to consider including the issues of temporary permits to victims of human trafficking. Matewere said this in Lilongwe Tuesday at a regional consultative workshop on the review process. Meanwhile, Law Commissioner Rosemary Kanyuka has expressed optimism that the Commission will finalize its review process of the 1964 Immigration Act by December this year. Now moving on to business news, 10 weeks into this year's market season, Malawi has realized approximately 102 billion kwacha from 78 million kilograms of tobacco sold through the designated 4 tobacco markets across the country. The tobacco traded this far is halfway through 120 million kilograms Malawi projected to harvest this year, according to the market regulator, Tobacco Commission. TC Chief Executive Officer Dr. Chidanti Malunga has told us the sales are way above if compared to similar period last year, when only approximately 77 billion kwacha was realized from 64 million kilograms sold. Andrew Viano has filed this report.
In 10 weeks of tobacco sales, earnings from the green gold hit $128 million, about 102 billion kwacha, after the country sold over 78.1 million kilograms at an average price of $1.64 per kilogram, according to figures from AHL Group. The revenue is higher compared to $64 million realized during the same period last year. The volume of tobacco traded is also higher compared to 64 million kilograms of tobacco sold within the first 10 weeks of trading last year. The average price is also higher than $1.51 the leaf fetched per kilogram last year within the same period. Tobacco Commission Chief Executive Officer Dr. Chidanti Malunga says Malawi has this far sold over half of the projected output this year, a sign Malawi could realize more from the leaf this year.
We anticipate that the tobacco market will still go on, probably hitting the projections that we made at the beginning of the season. We'll see a slight improvement, largely I think because of quality has improved this year.
Meanwhile, Tama Trust Chief Executive Officer Nixon Lita says the prices are encouraging to farmers this far, following a disappointing start at the market.
For contracts, it has been almost like the same since we started, but we've noticed some improvements on auction that have also come at the same time as we are having lower acquisition.
Tobacco estimates from TC show that the country has produced 120 million kilograms of all types of tobacco against the demand of 132 million kilograms this year. In the 2019-2020 farming season, Malawi sold 113 million kilograms of all types of tobacco, realizing $174 million, approximately 130 billion kwacha.
Moving on to sports, one of Flames assistant coaches Bob Mpinganjira and 8 players have tested positive for COVID-19 a few days before the team's departure for South Africa for this year's COSAFA Men's Senior Tournament. Farms Competitions and Media Manager Gomezani Zakazaka has confirmed to Zodiak. The development is a setback for the Flames as head coach Megemas and his deputy Raf Mufazili are yet to report for duties after they also tested positive for the pandemic before the team travelled to Tanzania for an international strength testing match on June 13. Well, that's about what we had time for in this news edition, but before we go, a look at the headlines. Former Reserve Bank Governor Dr. Dalit Sogabambe and 3 others charged with money laundering and neglect of duty. Parliamentarians observe Day of African Child with female legislators conducting business wearing school uniforms. AIDS Healthcare Foundation petitions government to invest $40 million United States dollars on COVID-19 vaccinations. And in sports, 8 Flames players and assistant coach test COVID-19 positive. Visit our website zodiacmalawi.com for more news. On behalf of the team, my name is Chancellor Zavanda. Thanks for watching.
Kuno kumukulu timadziwa kuti mumalimbikira kwambiri